Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, StratGamer here, bringing you Anno 1800 episode today. And in my last video that I will post in the description below, where I showed how I'm creating from scratch a new investor or scholar island only, I quickly showed this island and a few of you asked me to do a quick video on it. So here we are. This is my material island. I get all of my materials, the wood, the steel, the concrete, the bricks, everything comes from this island and then is dispatched everywhere in my empire. So we're gonna quickly look at this. And stay tuned because at the end I'll also tell you about the next video we're gonna look into. Okay, so let's get, and as I said, we have on this island all of the resources except the windows, which are actually coming from another island. And I'm not saying that this island is perfect, right? I know I can do things differently, but basically I created this island quite early on to get a lot of resources quickly when I needed them. And at that point, I didn't have some things. So for example, my departments or my palace wasn't huge. So I didn't have like a lot of, the area of influence of my department wasn't huge. I wasn't at that time producing tons of oil, so I didn't want to have an oil port on it. So you'll see that in some of the items. For example, I am using Angela to get electricity, versus if you have a lot of oil, then of course what you'll do is you just spam a few oil power plants or even gas power plants, and then you won't have to use Angela and you could use your force item for something else, or even better, in most of the cases, you will actually go and use this one, which will give you 50% productivity as long as you have electricity. But anyway, I will still show you a bit how this is done and what items I'm using. So starting with the wood here, the important element is to use the tectonic technical secateurs and the druid sickle to increase the forest density. You see this one 30% and this one 20%. And by doing that, you are able to put a lot of lumberjacks together next to each other. At the same time, I couldn't put only those items. I also had to put the extremely loud bell because I didn't want to bring any population from this island. This is a no population island, and that way you can also increase the productivity like this without fear of any problems. You see minus 15 in happiness, but that has no impact because there's no farmers to revolt on this island. So this is quite good. And you can only do that if you use less than your 200 here. So this is good here. And when you do that, you also don't need all of those buildings here, which I built at the beginning when I was using a pier to that island, because I didn't have yet all of the items. Now that I have them, I don't need all of these buildings. So this is the wood, and we can check quickly, and this is producing 300 per second. And as you can see, this is not a line, like I need a lot more than what I'm building, but it is fine because this is not like a need, a basic need like food, where if I don't have enough, my people are going to start giving me less money and revolt and all of this. This will just slow down my production of wood, which is fine because I mean it just slows me down in my development, but that's it. Now here are the bricks, and similarly you can see I didn't cover the whole trade union radius, just because all of these were just enough already for my production. So similarly, what did I put? The general foreman is very interesting because first workforce needed minus 60%, but also getting you steel beans on top. And we all know we need a lot of steel beans to develop our empire. And ferrous to get a lot of productivity. This one workforce needed minus 25%. So really you combine with this one and this one, I'm definitely at less than zero workforce needed, which is great because otherwise you would quickly get out of the 200 that you have here. Once again, I'm not saying that these are the perfect items for this. I'll probably do later on a video on the perfect items for this building, but now I just wanted to show you quickly this island. Here we move into the concrete, and for the concrete you need the cement and you need the steel, and that's why I've changed. As you can see, there's 6 limestone deposits on this island. Obviously the island at the beginning wasn't 6, but using your major discoveries, mysteries of nature, change deposit ore, you can change these, and I put them all on cement. And the steel is being built here because you also need it, right, for your steel beams. In terms of items, I didn't even put more. What we can put ferrous to get 50% more. So Angela to provide the electricity because the electricity is required for it. Then general foreman once again, because as you can see in the description, it impacts brick factories and concrete factory for the workforce and the steel beams. Then the printing press to get to 0 workforce needed, and finally ferrous, which is the item that always brings you the most productivity boost, right? 50% is huge. Next one is the steel beams. Here a few different items, and this one is interesting because many people don't think about it, because it says all ironworks and foundries, and that's a bit vague, right? Usually they tell you exactly which buildings. Here they don't really tell you this one, and that one, but it does impact this building. As you can see here, it is there. If it didn't impact, you wouldn't see it here. And it was quite huge because it's productivity 60, so it's even more than ferrous, and workforce minus 50. So there's really no way to not use that one. Then again, the printing press to get to 0 workforce, ferrous because of the huge bonus, and Angela to give electricity, which is a 100% bonus, right? So that's quite a lot, as you can this one here. And again, because we're on this island where we have no workforce, no houses and piers, we can use the increase in productivity bonus by 50. So all of these are producing quite a lot, and we'll look at this at the end. As I said earlier, the furnaces are important because it creates steels that is needed for the steel beams and for the concrete factories. In terms of items, quite similar to the steel beams, exact same. And then lastly, my sawmills. And here, once again, Angela for the 100% productivity bonus. This one is quite good to 50% and minus 25% productivity, so it's better than ferrous, because ferrous only takes minus 25% workforce. And the carpenter is interesting because it brings you wood for free, so it reduces the needs for wood by a third. And lastly, the printing press to reduce my labor need, so that I only need 1. And once again, as I said, we don't need these things here. They're not useful anymore everywhere. But at the beginning, when I had a pier on this island, I did put quite a few of these because that was, all of these things like the furnaces, etc. They can burn pretty quickly, explode and burn pretty quickly. So that's important. So it is about this island. Let's take a quick look at the final. So it's 600 wood, 40 bricks, 90 steel, and 50 reinforced concrete. So once again, I'm not saying this is a perfect island. I'm not saying you can't do a lot more than this number, of course. What I'm saying is that this was great for me to be able to quickly develop. When you want to create a new island with these productions per minute, you can you can quickly build a reserve like this, 3000, and just then you send them to that island, and that island you can develop it. Don't hesitate to share any feedback, comments, questions that you may have about materials and this island. And as promised, now let me tell you a small teaser about the next episode. So if you see at the top here, we've really increased our production, or our population, sorry, we're now almost at 2.6 million. Not finished yet, but getting there. And before diving into all of my scholars and showing you the whole empire, there is one thing that we didn't talk about much, which is how I'm feeding all of my investors, right? Because we do have also investors and not just scholars. And for the investors, it's two things. One part is in the new world, and one part is in the old world, on the bicycles and things like this. Actually, no. Do we? Yeah, so we still need bicycles. Sorry, penny farthings is the name. So we're gonna start with the new world, and in particular, in the new world, I want to show you two things. One is on one island, I'm able to produce all of the coffee and chocolate that I need for 500,000 investors. And then the second interesting video I want to show you is how I'm building cigars completely in the new world. All of the resources for the cigars are all from the new world, and I'll explain why I'm doing it. Is because it's quite different from what most people are doing. Okay, I hope you like this episode, and hope you'll be there for the next one around, as I said, the new world for investors.